Wow, what an honor to be here. I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry about that, but fortunately, LaRonda's going to talk. So it is an honor. Chong, I echo what you say. It's an honor to be up on this stage, and it's scary to follow you and Ed, and what a great job that you guys did. I cannot wait to walk the beaches of the world with you guys and be able to personally spend time, get to know you, and learn more about your stories and the people that you bring along, because I know that they're going to be special. Tony and Debbie and Bo and Sandy asked us to speak, and you know, we don't feel like really that we should speak till we get further down the road. We've only been around this for a couple of months now, but we decided to kind of more from our past, what we've learned and where we're going and why we're here. But one of the things I'll mention to you tonight is the power of association. And back almost 30 years ago, I met this woman right here. I've been married to her for 28 years, and this is the most powerful association that I ever could have imagined being involved with. So I want to give you the love of my life, my wife, LaRonda.
We're kind of blown away at being offered this chance to finish well. And we thank you guys for that. I don't think anyone else could have sponsored us other than Tony and Debbie. And I think God knew what he was doing, because he knew that we needed someone very organized and very patient and very kind and very methodical, because we are none of those things. And after listening to the two gentlemen before us, we have no story. We have always been our own problem. We didn't grow up with them. We have always been our own problem. So we want to just let you know that right up front. We didn't come from those kind of struggles. We come from parents who absolutely loved us and took care of us and provided well for us. And we had the opportunity to look at this kind of business when we were 20 and 23 or 24 years old. And by the time we were in our early 30s, it was just amazing what it had provided for us. Now, I do look at the plan here, and I hear what kind of volume these presidential coordinators are running. I'm thinking, Bo, had we been paid like that, we would have been so rich. But we weren't. So that's another story altogether. But and we've got stories that, just the thought of the association to us is amazing. So we built that business. We spent almost 17 years in it, and it wasn't an industry problem. It was a vision problem. It was a problem with getting things under control in order to head forward to a really wonderful future. And unfortunately, that company decided it was more important to stay with an old guard than it was some ideas of getting some things really clear to all the people that were out there and offering the same opportunity to everyone that came into the business. And so we kind of stepped away from that. And while we have dabbled, and I mean dabbled in a very unserious way over the last decade or so of our lives, we went off and did other things. Barry is a commercial contractor and roofer, and I have to tell you, there are very few women in their lives. When I married Barry, I knew that no matter what, we wouldn't go hungry. I knew he would love and take care of us and his family and all three of our children, and our beautiful daughter-in-law are here tonight. So for us, this is becoming something that we get to celebrate as a multi-generational thing right now, which is beyond exciting. And some of our dearest friends are in this room, and we've got a lot of memories. We have sat in the White House and gone to private Christmas parties, and we've gotten in trouble in the FBI together. And not with the FBI, in the FBI. It's always a prepositional problem and easy. But we've actually, there's 6 of us here, 7, and Taylor's here somewhere in the hotel, 8 of us technically that have been in a plane crash together. And that's a really exciting story too. But for another time, after we've all skied really hard for a really great day and have, got a beautiful glass of red wine, we'll tell that story. And so we just have a lot of hope going forward. So as you're kind of processing what does it take to build a business like this? Because I wish I were the kind of person who had just come in just absolutely believing that this business was going to work, or even that the business was going to work. It took a lot of time for that to really sink into my heart. And I think one of the things that I could offer that maybe is not specific to this business, and maybe it's more specific to life, is that everything you do, kind of the mindset of gratefulness. I am so grateful to be in this business. I'm so grateful to be in this business with the people I'm in business with. I'm so grateful to be here with the people I'm here with. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be in a time in our country where people are kind of awakening to the idea that they need to take care of themselves, and yet they are really needful of some serious financial help. They're needful in a reawakening of their dream. That is the perfect storm for people who do what we do as professionals, who are people who professionally offer people the opportunity to absolutely make extraordinary changes in their lives without having to risk their home, without having to risk their children's futures. It's a very unique opportunity, and we've come to it at a time when the world needs us. And we need to remain very grateful for this opportunity, because when you're grateful for something, it's not what you have to do, it's what you get to do. And that changes everything. That changes your entire perspective on the work you're doing, and it changes the entire perspective of the people that you're working with. So I would just humbly suggest that we really bring to the table an attitude of gratefulness for this opportunity. And I've heard that in every person. Barry ran the River Run this morning. He had actually committed to that with some friends prior to us even getting into the Shaklee business, or even really knowing about it. And so when we were chatting and kind of catching up, I said, Barry, you are not going to believe the quality of the people that we have listened to from stage, their stories, their passion, their humor, their real desire to see this be phenomenal. I don't know that I've seen that kind of heart as an entire group in any other place. That was just, it was revolutionary. It was just very exciting. I thought, you're just gonna love this. So I would encourage you to do that. 3 things that I learned a long, long time ago. One of my favorite speakers 100 years ago talked about 3 words, and I still have these 3 words in my bathroom. I look at them every day, and they were praise, pray, and promote. I love those words. Praise, 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 praise. Up, down, across, products. Praise, because you know what? Praise is edifying, and it builds up. And it's something that comes along with being grateful. Pray, and I can't stress that enough, because I don't care how good you are. You're not that good. And nobody is. That's the whole key. Nobody is. You know, you get this really false sense of who people are when they're up on stage, and some are so articulate and some are beautiful. I did tell my Barry, I said, you are going to love all the really good-looking women in this business. I mean, I'm like, really, you have to be good-looking to do this. So, and, you know, it was just, you're never going to do this by yourself. You want this amazing team of people, and your whole goal is to pray that you find 10 people or 20 people or 100 people as you grow your business who are way better than you are. Once you get people who are way better than you are on the right track. Now, don't let them outwork you, but once you get a bunch of people who are way better than you are on the right track. Don't be afraid of them. Don't stifle them. Welcome them. Learn from them. Grow with them. And you're going to be on the right track. And the 3rd P word was promote. Promote, promote, promote. Promote. You know what? We're going to be in Nashville. Our kids are going to be in Nashville. I hope you're going to be in Nashville, because that is the next event. So all of my time, and I could actually pull out the old notebooks. They're up in my attic. From the time I was a 20-year-old girl, we went to our first conference in New Orleans, and we drove this ratty old Mercedes that we had that used literally 21 quarts of oil to get there. It's a horrible story. We were your house painter and waitress, and we were in love with the idea of owning our own business. And from the time we went to our first conference, there was 2 of us. I can pull the notebooks of the cities and the places and the numbers of people we took to those next conferences, because I tracked our business from conference to conference. Conference to conference is how you see what's actually happening. So real quick, just write down on a piece of paper that you can find later how many people you have in this room. If it's just you, easy number. If it's you and a couple of people, easy number. If it's you and a wild guess, you know, a kind of a swag, get you a good swag number. And then whatever that is, in Nashville, have more. Do you know if that was actually your only goal for about a decade, you would fill your own Coliseum? I mean, it's really that simple. It really is that simple, but people fail to just do the little details. So promote. So the other thing I would encourage you to do about, kind of our mindset of this is, the verse, and there's been a paper written on this and a couple of books, and as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's kind of a funny combination of words because you use thinketh and in his heart, kind of an unusual combination of words. If I could encourage you to do anything, you know what? Technically, you know this works. I mean, this is not really a mental exercise. The numbers actually work. You know, if you follow that fast track plan or if you follow the plan, the numbers technically work. This is not something you have to believe for it to work. So technically, it's not so much a mental game. Logically, this makes complete sense. This is a game of controlling your heart and your emotions. This is a game of keeping yourself in check. This is just a game of realizing that there are ups and downs and nobody's as good as they look, and you're fine. You're fine. You can do this, but you have to control your emotions to kind of ride it out, to learn what you need to learn. So I would encourage you to do that. And the last thing I want to leave you with is that people think that their job in a business like this is to put people in, and they work so hard and they get so consternated and they just get frustrated and they want to get the words down. They want to sound like Bo, and they want to be, my son Max says that Tony and Debbie have a completely unfair advantage with their accent. Fair, but so they want to have something down pat to sponsor people. That's the big thing. How do I get someone to get in? I would encourage you that actually that's not our job. That's kind of the prelude to our job. Do you have to get good at it? Sure. Do you have to get great? No. It only 6, 8, 12 people make you a lot of money. 40 will make you wealthy, as Bo was running through those numbers today. So no, you don't ever have to be great at it. Just be good and be consistent. So do it, but maybe you don't have to be great. What I would say our job actually is, or when it starts, is after we've sponsored someone. That is what we do. We actually help people build businesses. So sponsoring them is only a piece of that, and actually it's the weeny, teeny, tiniest piece of this, because that only happens once to people, and then you have this time to really put them in, so and really help them grow and to watch them grow. So I am grateful to you. I'm grateful to Bo and Sandy and Tony and Debbie particularly, but I am so grateful to this man, because if you knew what he's done over the last 10 years to take care of us when we lost a 7-figure income very rapidly, I could tell you the things he went out and learned that were brand new for him, and how he toughed out some really amazing things to feed us. I wouldn't have enough to tell you how much that has meant to me. And I love him. I am so glad to be back building this business with him. We have always built as a team. It's been the only way we've ever figured out how to make it work, probably because neither of us are that good. So here's my husband, Barry.
She makes me such a sap. Yesterday I was I didn't get here till this afternoon because we had a roof ripped off of a Longhorn Steakhouse. We do a lot of Olive Gardens and Longhorn Steakhouses and Cracker Barrel restaurants, and sometimes you got to take the whole roof off, and they're open. It's really an interesting type of game to play in Florida particularly. And I won't go there right now, but yesterday I got off the roof and I went to get the crew something to eat because I was pushing them, and we got to get done so I could get down to Orlando. And so I was in Whataburger checkout line, getting 6 number 2s, that's double burgers, and 3 with Coke, 2 with Dr. Pepper, 1 with unsweetened iced tea. And I don't listen to country music. I grew up as a 70s child, all right? So I'm give me some Queen, some Boston, some stuff like that. That's what I know. And, but my daughter and my wife and some other people are Leah, like country music. So I've been training myself to like country music, all right? And that's not easy for me. I grew up on a farm and I don't like country music. But I've learned now that the reason I don't like it is it makes you cry, okay? I was in this line trying to order Whataburgers, and Alan Jackson was singing Remember When. And I got to thinking about LaRon, and I started sobbing. I'd go, I need 3 number 2s. I got up there. Everybody came to the window to see what was wrong with me. And so here we are. You don't build a business overnight. When we came out of our first business and I started into the contracting business, folks, I'm gonna tell you something. You invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in, if not just pure cash, in experience and failures and things, money you should have made and you didn't make. Do you know that's how business works? The problem is that most people are employees and they've been employees their whole life, and so they don't know that. If you're gonna own your own business, you're gonna fall down and get up, fall down, get up, fall down, get up. That's how you do it. And there's all this money you should have made. And you think if I'd had a job doing this, I would have worked this week, got paid, work next week, get paid, work a month, get paid. The problem with owning your own business, there's sometimes you can go a year or two and you can't find where you made any money. Because what you did make, you reinvested. You didn't take your wife and go to Atlantis and the Bahamas. You didn't buy a new truck and all these crazy kids working for you are driving brand new trucks. Because you're giving them all your money. And that's just how it works. That's how owning your own business is. And so here we are now. If you wanted me to put a roof on anything of yours in the next 3 months, 4 months, I couldn't do it. I've got more work than I can do in the next 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 months, just stacked up. And the Lord has really blessed us with a lot of great work, and there's a lot of momentum there, and it's starting to prosper in the way that you'd want business to prosper. And then Tony comes along and shares this opportunity with me. One of the things I've always been enamored with is this whole concept of potential. Potential. Now, I grew up on a farm. I'm a hot rodder. I don't know if any of you guys or girls like hot rods. I love hot rods. Okay, I love to see what you can take a motor that came lock stock out of the factory and see how many horsepower that we can get out of it. How much potential can you get out of this engine? I love that. Now, it's not the reason as a pilot that I crashed with Bo and Ron and Don in the Appalachian Mountains. I wasn't pushing that to the limits, I promise you, all right? But I like to push things to the limit. That's just what I do. I like to find out how far it can go, what it can do. That's just the kind of guy that I've always been. So when Tony came along and said, Barry, now, folks, when you talk to people, to sponsor people, sometimes it's wise not to try to show them an organized plan. Tony didn't come to me and Debbie and show us an organized plan. They basically came to us and said, Barry, we got something that we want you to do with us. And I said, really, why is that? And he says, Barry, because it's got the potential that it matches yours and LaRonna's potential, and you need to do it because you're good at it, and because you'll do better than you've ever done, ever in your life financially. Now that got my interest up, and so the first thing I asked him, I want to find out what the potential is. Okay, Tony, how long you been around with this? He said 13 months. I said, how well did you do? And he told me, and I thought, wow, that's good potential. That is really good potential. So I checked the potential of the compensation plan. I know Tony and Debbie very, very well. I trust them explicitly. When he told me what he had made, I knew that he wasn't lying, and I knew the comp plan. I didn't know how it worked. He didn't show me. But I knew the comp plan had the potential that I needed to look deeper into. And I said, well, tell me about the products. He said, no, Barry, I want you and LaRonda to carve out some time in December. I want you to fly to San Francisco. And he says, we want you to go tour the company and learn about the products. And of course, Bo and Sandy are sitting there speaking into this whole thing behind the scenes this whole time. And so we agreed to carve out some time, fly out to San Francisco, which we did. And we talked to person after person that you've heard some of them this weekend about the potential of the products. And it began to blow my mind what kind of products they had. I had no idea. Did you have any idea? I've heard the name Shaklee my whole life. When I was in Amway, we kind of laughed at Shaklee. Now I find out that I'm in Shaklee, you're laughing at Amway. Okay? And I've been in both now. We're right. Here. This is the right one. Now I gotta hurry. So we checked out the products. We talked to the experts out there that were putting this together. We learned about the past and it blew our mind. Let me tell you something, folks. I walked in and they introduced us to Roger Barnett. Folks, I'm gonna tell you something. There are people who make themselves literally multi-millionaires doing nothing in the world but figuring out how to attach themselves to somebody of that caliber and of that wealth. And just the crumbs from their table, they become millionaires. Are y'all with me on this? When I met Roger Barnett, I sat there, and they'll tell you, LaRonda will tell you, Tony and Debbie will tell you, I didn't say anything. I just listened, and I took it in, and I said, oh my gosh, where have you been all my life? Not just his wealth. I've been around wealth. Not just that the girls think he has pretty hair, okay? Not just because he's you can tell he loves people. You can tell he wants to make a difference in people's lives. And I'm thinking, this guy is worth attaching ourselves to for all we're worth. And let me tell you, the more I learn about him, the more I listen to his plan. Folks, we are insane if we don't do everything we can to gain a position with that team of people at Shaklee Corporation led by Roger Barnett. Because let me tell you something, it will make history. I've been around this, it will make history. History is gonna be made, period. Folks, I already knew the potential of the team. Here's what I knew. You can be in the wrong opportunity with the right people, and you're in the right thing because it'll become the right opportunity. Bo and Sandy, we knew them. Tony and Debbie, the more we've met the team, the more we realize, even if this were wrong, it would become right for the team of people. Folks, the only way you can learn that is coming to an event like this, where you can get around more and more of the team and you can start to see the potential of what you got your hands on. It's one thing to have a great opportunity, it's another to have a great team to run with. And Ed, I know that you can do a whole talk on teams, because you can have as many players as you want that were the best in the nation, but if they don't have a common vision, he talked about sharing a vision, getting people on the same page. If they don't share a vision, they're not going to go anywhere together. Folks, I've never seen a group of people more together than the people that I'm meeting in this, from corporate team right through the field team. And I'm going to tell you, we got the right people to follow on this thing. So the only potential that we're really left to have to deal with and figure out is our own potential. And folks, this weekend's also about that. I can't tell you the power of association. You are who you associate with. If you don't constantly seek to they say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. One of the biggest reasons is because who they're hanging around. You want to move on? I guarantee you, hang around people that are moving on and it'll get inside of you. It'll begin to affect you. It'll begin to move you to moving on as well. Association, vitally important. Vitally important that you read some good books that'll teach you things about yourself that you may have forgotten or you may never have known. Ignorance keeps people broke their whole life. One of the saddest things I see, especially with my crews now, all my different crews, is to watch and to see the potential of some of these men that work for me, and I can't get them to see it. I just can't get them to see it. It brings me to tears sometimes because they're just got talent. and they've got ability, and they can't see it. You can't get them to see it. Folks, learn about yourself. Read some good books. So I'll end with this. And I told, right at the beginning, my son graduated from the University of Florida. Go Gators. My son graduated from the University of Florida. He's here tonight. I'm really proud of him and of all my children. And but for his graduation, we all went skiing up in West Virginia, snowshoe. And as we were skiing that night, a movie came on. We love to sit around and watch a movie together. Jumanji. Now, I've seen Jumanji a lot of times. Have you seen the movie Jumanji? And so I never saw it quite like I saw it up there, though. So we had just gone out there, so our minds were racing about what we had seen with Shackley, and by gosh, we couldn't find an excuse not to do it anymore. And so we were sure we were going to do it, especially when Nax and his wife said, we want to do this. And so we were watching Jumanji. And so here's this story. If you haven't seen it, you know, it's this little boy whose father's a wealthy owner of a shoe factory in this little town. And he finds this game. And he's been bullied. He's been picked on by all these kids. He finds this board game. And with this board game, they start him and this girl that he likes, and they're just like these 10 or 12-year-old kids start playing this board game, and it starts getting out of hand. Every move they make, these crazy jungle scenes and all this different stuff starts happening, and they get wrapped up in this game. Well, as kids, when this happens, you know, everybody thinks that the father killed the son because he just disappears. He gets sucked into this board game, and they never quit. They didn't finish the game. And so the girl ran out of the house and didn't make her roll and keep on playing the game. And long story short, years later, these two kids move in there and into this house, and they find this game upstairs, and they start playing, and they finish this game. Well, during the course of finishing this game, this 12-year-old kid comes popping out of the game, but this time he's in his 30s or 40s or whatever it is, and he's been stored in this game all this time waiting on somebody to finish the game. And ultimately, they go through all the adversity it takes to finish the game, and this house is completely demolished. The town is completely demolished. It's just a great movie. You need to see this movie. And then at the end of the movie, when they finish the game, everything instantly is restored to the way it was back in the 50s. And here he is sitting here with the love of his life at 12 years old, and his dad is alive again, and his dad had died during that time, and his mom, and everything comes back, and they have the chance to live their life as they would have before they started the game. And I love, and as I watched that, I thought, that's what we all need to do. We can't go back to 12 years old and pick up the ball and keep running at that point, but we can start with now, because there's a saying that says a live dog is better than a dead lion. And you know what? I don't care what age you are. I don't care how much you failed. You're sitting in this room with the right people and the right opportunity. Finish the game. Finish the game. Because you cannot imagine what a difference even 1 year can make in your life.